And good, yeah. I guess we back. Here we go. Hey, we back with Mental and Potential. I have a special guest. It is your host, Andreas Lindley, former overseas athlete, now coacher, trainer, etc., etc. We have a special guest with us, number 49 in your program, number one in your heart. I'm talking about shaking Europe in a big way, Mister. You are denied. What can I say? I can say a lot, but I want you guys to welcome our guest, Adrian
Yep.
Wentland.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Coach Dre. Excited to talk and
Yeah,
talk football in Europe, talk about international football, and talk about life.
yeah, for sure, man. I'm like you're one of the I would say one of the the bigger names that's been on my platform. I had Zach on here,
Oh, cool.
Magic Zach,
Yep.
doing his thing as well. But man, when I'm before we dive into it, I'll go ahead and say like I've watched you over a few years, seen some some clips. I always wanted to play Dresden, so
Yeah.
that's why I seen you at. But like you're not just making noise there, but all over Europe and. Like I said, I don't want to dive too much about it. I just want to kind of, let us know like where you from,
Yep.
how football got started with you, and then we'll just take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Rockford, Illinois, near Chicago, about hour and a half northwest of Chicago. Blue collar city. I guess typical Midwest American suburbia life. Played three sports growing up: basketball, baseball, football. Always was active. Went through playing from a really small age all the way up through middle school, high school. Football was always my biggest sport that I enjoyed to play. Got the opportunity to go to a small school, Division II, earned a scholarship there, so I got my education and was able to play football. Stood out as an athlete. Had great coaches, great teammates. Had a really good experience at McKendree University, small school. Fortunately, I was an all-American type guy. Um, from there, got some looks at the NFL. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And then I found out about Europe. Like guys like yourself, myself, and so many other imports who have gotten the opportunity to go to Europe. A lot of guys maybe never have heard of football in Europe. If you're from the U.S. and
Right.
went over and played in Dresden, like you said. First, that was my first opportunity in Europe, and made a home there for a few years. It was really, really cool journey, really cool experience. Played with a lot of good coaches, good teammates, different imports that I've played with who are now playing for like other teams in the ELF that are, guys that I played that are opponents now. Um, and yeah, it's just the whole journey's been really, really cool. It's changed my life forever. I don't think my life will ever be the same. I can see myself staying out here in Europe, coaching, playing obviously now, and as I get more into like a veteran type role, transitioning into coaching and things like that, and just networking with different coaches and players like yourself and different guys that just all over Europe. Kind of, it's a big world, but small world at the same time. So it's been really cool to meet different people, network, and yeah, I'm just enjoying the journey, man. It's been really, really cool.
Yeah, I already know, man. So let's chop this up real quick. So let's talk about Rockford, Illinois. Like my vision of Illinois. I mean, I know everybody's vision of the South is probably like I don't know,
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
something not pleasant. But when I think
right,
of Illinois, I always think of like dry, grassy plains, like windy,
yeah,
and I would say like what do you call it, windmills?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
is
Wind
that the way
turbines
it
and all
is?
those things. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah, man.
all right, cool. But like, so about Rockford, like, so you grew up a three-sport athlete. Like how is it as someone coming from Rockford? Is it like a big city town?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting place. It's a city of about 200,000 people, so it's got a good mix of like a bigger city vibe, but also suburbia, mid-sized city. A lot of blue collar people, not a lot of money out of Rockford. They're just like every city. There's some good parts, some bad parts. Where the high school that I went to is Harlem High School, so it's a good mix of, um, like I said, mostly blue collar people, but it's got a good mix of different people from all over the world, ethnicities. It's a good mix of people. A lot of, like I said, blue collar people, not a lot of money. So I think that kind of shaped me the way that I am growing up to, I guess, not take things for granted. And yeah, like it's just kind of a good mix of like there's country, white trash, a little bit ghetto, a little bit of everything, just all mixed into one. And I think that's what I like about where I'm from. When I go home, I'm reminded of my roots. To kind of work hard for my family, get back in touch with that blue collar mentality, and yeah, just a lot of people that I know try to get out of Rockford. It's not that it's not somewhere you would go for vacation. You know what I mean? So it's nice. It's close to Chicago. You can go to Chicago and go into the city and have that big city feel. But yeah, Rockford isn't. I want to say you wouldn't want to go there for vacation other than it'll always be home. Don't get me wrong. My family's there. I'll always go back, see them and everything and have a good time. But I enjoy being out here and being able to, I guess, live a good life in Europe.
Yeah, man. And I wonder, like, go off of that. Do you, like, as far as your play, if you don't know, you guys go look up Mr. Adrian Joseph Wentland and look at his stats. This man is over 100 tackles. Is it the last 2 years?
Yeah, it's been a few. I mean, in Dresden it was over 100 every time. I think I think every year except one I had over 100.
This man is sideline to sideline. He's chasing you down. All right, you got a target on you. All right, if you got a target, he's coming. Easy. What from Rockford actually shaped that mentality? I mean, you say you was a 3-sport athlete. Like, what kind of shaped your mentality for? I'm not sure how it was for baseball or did you say basketball or?
Yeah, I played a little bit of basketball. I also wrestled too at different points of.
See,
Yep.
Yeah. All right, those goes hand in hand. But how did that kind of shape your mentality? Like, when I step out on the field, this is what it's gonna be. Like, there is no other alternative. Would you say Rockford was a part of that?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, a lot of guys don't have a lot of money there. I grew up with not a lot of resources, and all we had was sports. So when I grew up, I played for a team called Nelson Storm, and I've always been really lucky to have had really good mentors, really good coaches, to kind of show us the way. And fortunately, being born in 1994, when I was coming up, it was like 2000. So we were still kind of playing a little bit of old school football, even when I was, 6 or 7 when I first started. So we would do
like the last bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were doing like old school drills, you know what I mean? And I think that growing up in a city like Rockford with a lot of other blue collar kids and having, blue collar mentors showing us the way and showing us how to be tough and how to play physical football and put everything that we have into sports and character development and things like that. And we were also crazy kids. We get in trouble too, just like everybody else. But I think that having those mentors and going through programs like Nelson Storm with our football, and having mentors show us the way to say, okay, stay out of trouble, and let's put all that energy that you have and put that into staying in sports, stay in class, stay in school. Because you don't want to end up like some of these other guys that, from Rockford that are just staying around Rockford, so just put everything you can into your sport, hang out with your good friends, good teammates. And like I said, I think that having those mentors was a big help for guys like myself and other guys in the Rockford area, just to, just have somebody to look up to and show us the way. And I think those old school drills really shaped my mentality of, I'm thinking of football, but just doing bull in the ring, just all those old school full tackling drills when we were young. So then as we got older, it was just kind of easy for us, because we'd already been doing all those tough mentality type drills going into, high school football, college football, whereas maybe other programs didn't really do that kind of stuff. So, forever grateful for the mentors that I had and the teammates and coming from Rockford, it's home, and I think that shaped myself and other guys like myself in that Midwestern area,
Would you say like your mentality was more business or pleasure when you stepped out on the field? Like, what's your mentality? Like, is it like, like I'm like super focused, or is it like I gotta just wild out, have fun, and just bust heads?
Yeah, I think
Like
it's a
what do
little
you
bit of
think?
I think it's a little bit of both. And I think there's times where you're having fun, there's times where it's really really business and very focused. Um I think that I've always been pretty good throughout my entire career, whether I was a younger kid or even now playing in Europe, with balance and having fun. Try to always have fun every single day because it should be fun, right? You should enjoy what you do and have fun doing it. Joke around a little bit, but at the same time, you're focused. It's business because this is what you do, and this is what this is how you earn your checks, right? So, I think it's a good balance to always kind of be focused, do your job, but at the same time, have fun and enjoy what you do because you only live once, and it's about the experience of enjoying yourself. So I think that when I reflect, I think that I've always done a pretty good job of kind of having a good balance of doing a little bit of both because I want to enjoy and have fun, because otherwise, what's the point in doing it if you're not having fun or enjoying yourself? And also, you got to be focused and take it serious because otherwise, if you're not taking things serious, you're not going to be very good. So I think there's a good thing on both sides, and I think that living in the middle somewhere is good.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. But speaking of having fun, like what? Give me your top three experiences of playing European football. So you're from the U.S., you're from Rockford. Like your experience as an American,
Yeah,
dropping down into a European lifestyle, full throttle,
yeah.
no prep. You just in it. Like what's your top three experiences?
Ooh,
Fun.
I mean
I would say
that's
fun.
tough. I
It could
think
be
all of them
weird
have
too. It
been.
could be weird. It could be weird too.
Yeah,
But
I can give three. I can give
all
three.
right.
They've all been really really cool. A couple that really stand out, I think, was when I went to Kuopio, Finland, because I'd been playing in Dresden for 3 seasons in a row at that point. The season had been canceled because of COVID. Nobody knew what was going to happen. It was just kind of a weird time for everybody. And then getting the last minute contract saying, "Hey, we're playing football up here. We're putting together this little all star team. Come up here and play." And it was so new to play for a new program, because at that point all I had known was playing for the Dresden Monarchs. I didn't know anything else. I didn't really have an open mind of playing anywhere else. At that point, I thought, oh, I'm going to be a Dresden Monarch, for my career of playing in Europe. So then I went to Kuopio and saw something new and saw a new country and got to play with a bunch of different guys that used to be opponents of mine in the German football league, and we just had a blast, And I think that was something that will always stand out to me. And winning my first championship, we had a great time. So that was a ton of fun.
So that was you,
Yeah.
the first championship in Kuopio.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
First
that's
year that
dope.
they had won.
All
Yeah.
right,
So
cool.
that was very memorable and it was a lot of fun and I got to play with a lot of guys that I'm still close with.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I think playing even last year, even though the Leipzig Kings we didn't do as well as we wanted to, it was a very fun year for myself as well because that was the first year playing in the ELF, something new, playing with professional rules, and also just having great teammates. Because being here in Leipzig, as you know, we have a pretty good family atmosphere, and even though we didn't have the results that we always wanted to, we always had each other's back on and off the field with guys like Lance Leota, Aslan, William James. Dion, Enrique, all those guys that are returners that are still playing with us, great guys, and I think that we had an awesome time last year, and I'm looking forward to this next one. So that's definitely in that top three. And then I'd say maybe number three is my first season coming out to Germany, because that was something new to me playing in Europe. I got to meet my girlfriend. I had a great time just meeting everything. Everything was so new, making so many new friends and just creating that experience of beginning my life in Europe. And, when you're transitioning coming to Europe, some things are a little bit difficult, but at the end, looking back at it, I'm very happy that I had those experiences and having some growing pains because now I can live here comfortably and I can kind of help other guys, as they come over for their first time, guys like McShane that are coming over for the first time. I'm like, hey, I remember those days of like when I first came and, it's different, but it's not that different, so if you ever need anything, just call me and I'll try to help you.
Yeah.
So I think that those are the top three, and there's many more that I could name.
Mm. How is it that you're looking through life now through the lens of an experienced traveler versus being a virgin eyed or just um, yeah, your first time stepping out. like have you changed many of your type of like maybe daily mannerisms or like activities? Like has a lot changed since you've been international?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, now when I go home to the U.S., sometimes I feel like I have like a culture shock the other way because I've spent so much time out in Europe
Yeah.
and kind of opened my mind to different cultures and seeing different things, especially in Germany. I guess I've spent most time in Germany and Western Europe, I guess. But it also makes me I guess hungry, and I have the desire to see more. I want to travel more, go to Asia, go to Africa, go to the Middle East, go everywhere around the world because it kind of opened my eyes of realizing that I haven't seen anything. Um,
And
but
it's
at
not
the
that
same,
hard to do.
yeah,
It's
exactly, and
not
it's
as
really
hard.
not exactly.
Yeah.
So I noticed that a lot of not all Americans, but a lot of Americans sometimes live in their bubble a little bit, which is okay. But I always urge my friends and family, like, just get out, go to Europe if you can, like, just pull the trigger and go for it because it's a life changing experience,
True.
and it changes your view on so many things in life. And like I said, every time I go home, I always have a little bit of culture shock. I got to get used to being back in the U.S. And I always tell people it's not completely different. It's actually very similar, but there's just subtle differences, and those smallest things will throw you off a little bit.
I tell you what I do. Like I'll go like whenever I go home. Like when I eat, I'll I'll make sure like the trash is separated, or I'll try to separate the trash, but nobody
Right.
separates the trash.
No.
Or like if I wash clothes, I'm looking to put it on the clothesline rather than
Yeah.
the dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, exactly. And I'll do those same mannerisms when I go home as well. I'll say I go home and I'm with my mom or whatever. I do the laundry, hang it up. She's like, "You don't want to dry it?" I'm like, "No, like never since I went to Europe, I like air drying my clothes, you know?"
right.
You know?
or or like if you drink something, like you think about like, oh, you can't get money for this. Like I gotta throw this
Yeah,
away.
exactly. Yeah,
Dang.
you're like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
get the fond."
Nah, man, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you're really enjoying Europe, and it's a blessing because like man, like believe it or not, there's not a lot of guys like me or you that stick around in Europe. A lot of guys come and
Yes.
they leave the next year
Yep.
and they don't even and think about it. Like that first year you came, you probably had experiences, but you didn't get to experience as much as you did
No.
by staying and
Yep.
figuring out so much. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's yeah, it's that's a crazy thought.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I mean, that first year came and went so fast, and I think that it's also been pretty cool to see there's been more and more guys doing what we do a little bit, staying a little bit more in the off season, meeting a girl or having a girlfriend, and making a living out of doing it with also with playing football, which is cool. I think that the game growing in Europe and with the ELF and things like that, growing, I think it gives guys more opportunities to coach and to play and to be here for longer than a 3 to 6 month stint. They can spend more time in Europe and make a career with football. And I love that. I hope that the game continues to grow here. And that's a future goal of mine, is to just help continue the upward growth of football
that's
in
what
the
I was
world.
gonna. That's what I was gonna ask you next. Like, where do you see? You can say football, but I'm just saying for all sports, like for people to take a chance. Because if you think about it, Germans are now taking a chance to leave Germany for
Yeah.
more opportunities in the states. And but I wanted to say, like, where do you see, like, as far as Americans coming out, or it could be anybody, like, stepping out, that there's these new leagues, opportunities to play. Like for me, I didn't even really know about Europe, but apparently it was here before. I didn't
Exactly.
know. But like, where do you
Yeah.
see it going?
I mean, I think that it's gonna continue to grow, or at least I hope so. As long as these leagues continue to get exposure, and it's always big when Americans go over to Europe. I have friends that I played with in high school who ended up going to another college. Who they'll reach out to me and say, "Hey, like I'm thinking about playing for this team in Denmark, or GFL 2 or GFL 1, any league in Europe." And my answer right away is I say yes, go. I don't even hesitate. I'm like, it doesn't matter what level. I'm like, it's going to be a great experience for you, and you're going to help grow the game just by being there. These guys are going to learn from you. These guys are going to see how you play and how you go about your day as a professional athlete. So I say yes right away. It's a win-win situation. So I think that it's great that, teams are bringing more Americans over, whether they're a top league or even a lower league. I don't think that should even matter. I think just bringing guys over, getting that culture built for whatever program you're trying to do, and leagues like the ELF growing as well. I believe that each league that grows, it's going to bring up every league as well. That's what I hope, and that's what I want to kind of occur is, get more exposure on the game, get more players that are, from Europe that are going to the U.S. and maybe coming back and having a good league to play in Europe, and being able to make a living doing it, or at least make it worthwhile for them to have like a full-time job and be able to play and be able to spend all that time and be able to make a living doing so. So I'm confident that things will continue to grow in Europe, and it seems like you said, it's already been around for a long time. We've seen it with NFL Europe come and go, and hopefully leagues like that continue to get to that level. But it's been pretty cool, and I think from the time that I've been here, it's already grown a little bit. So I could imagine guys who've been around from 10, 20 years ago, I could imagine that they would think that it's still on an upward trajectory. So hopefully it continues going in that direction. And I think guys like yourself help do that. When they're done playing, they kind of stick around and help coach and help the next generation, and just lead by example.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, something about the. I was gonna say, like, within the last 5 years, like it definitely has exploded. I didn't know too much about it. I knew about NFL Europe,
right?
But I think like it kind of went with the social media wave almost. Like,
right, yeah.
It wasn't really hidden, but around 2016, 17, 18, it was just like, okay, yeah, this is happening out there. Like,
yeah.
And I was going to ask you next is, like, have you played or end up like meeting other players from like maybe your conference or like somebody that you knew back home? I would say for like Jacksonville State or LaGrange College, there's a couple coaches I know from back home that I never would have thought I would bump into out here. Players never would have thought I would bump into out here.
Right.
But what about you? Like, have you?
Yeah, it's like we talked about. It's a small world, man. And my first season actually, I ended up, or I think it was 2019 actually. So my second season in Dresden, I played against a running back that went to my college, McHenry University. Cheyenne Edwards. Sorry, he went to play in Cologne for the Cologne Crocodiles. So I played against an old teammate from college. That's one example. I had another defensive end, Tobias Cook, that played with me in college, who went to a GFL2 team. I forget the name, but he came and visited us when I played Cheyenne. So I got to see both of those guys in Europe. Like I mentioned earlier, my high school running back, Dwayne Milton, he's now down playing in somewhere in Bavaria. I think Fürsti. Is it Fürsti Razorbacks? Yep, so he's playing down there for the Razorbacks. So hopefully this season I can get out there and go see him. And that just for an example shows me that it's growing, because beforehand I didn't know anybody. And now that I'm over here, I'm playing against old teammates. I also have a teammate that's was my roommate in college who's out here coaching on our team. So it's like, it's just the more, and he had played in Denmark before that. So also our college quarterback played I think he played for the Vasa Royals in Finland, Isaac Fisher. So he was the quarterback for Vasa. So it's kind of been cool to see different guys come to Europe, play against a couple guys that I know of. Steve McShane, who's on our team, I played against him in high school. So it's kind of like,
crazy.
Yeah, it's a small world, and it seems like Europe is getting more and more exposure, and just seeing more and more guys that are from my area come, and that people know each other. I know that it's the same for other players, So it's growing, and I think that, like I said earlier, those guys that come over, they have a huge impact, and other people see that and they want to also come out to Europe, and I think that helps the European players, and it just goes hand in hand, and hopefully, like I said, both can grow together.
Yeah, I'm hoping as well. I think there's a lot that that football brings as far as like helping people learn about different cultures,
Yes.
things like that. And I think it's a big shocker to some people, but it definitely like brings us closer together.
100%.
Yeah. So like before we get out of here, I just want to know, man, what you gonna do this year, man? Are you popping or you know what I'm saying? What's happening? What are your goals this year? You know, where do you see yourself at and your team at the end of the year? We'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm super excited, man. I mean, 2023, playing in the European League of Football, it's always hyped up. There's always a ton of fun. We got a great team. I love what Coach Booker's been doing. The local guys have been just getting gritty and tough. And playing this last camp weekend, I noticed right away that these guys have gotten a lot better, you know, and being able to see them work through the off season and see how they have gotten better just from communicating with the guys, you know, keeping up with them. Hey, how's your workouts going? How's everything going? And a lot of these guys got bigger, faster, stronger. And, you know, Coach Booker working with these guys the last few weekends and coming in for my first camp, seeing how these guys have gotten gritty and, you know, they're not backing down from anybody, whether they're an import or another German, you know, they're competing. So I love to see that because the culture has shifted a little bit from my first season here, you know, so I love to see how that has grown. And I'm really, really excited to see us shock the league because, you know, a lot of people have kind of slept on us. We kind of keep things low key, which is better for us because it's like there's no point of, you know, showing off what we've been doing and showing off our coaching staff and showing off all of our players because we know we're like, we'll let you see it all week
Right.
one, you know, week two when we play you,
Right.
you know, so I'm super excited. My goals are to, you know, just help lead the best way that I can, you know, be the best player that I can be, and do whatever I need to help my team win. And yeah, I mean, my goal is playoffs. You know, I'm never going to think championship or anything like that. I'll never talk about that. Coach Booker's the same way. He's like all about the process, you know, so I'm going to just be the best that I can be this next weekend, you know, watch the film from last camp and get better, you know, knock off the rust, get better from last weekend, go into this next weekend and win Friday, win Saturday, win Sunday, and then just enjoy the process, just
Yeah.
1 week at a time,
Chopping wood.
you know,
Right.
and, you know, obviously the ultimate goal is playoffs, but once we get into that tournament, anything can happen. You
Right.
know, so like I said, a lot of people have been sleeping, and that's okay. You know, it hypes me up. I get excited.
Uh-huh.
It's okay. Let them sleep. You know, I don't got to say nothing. You know, sometimes I see those rankings. I want to get on there and be like, oh, just wait and see. But there's no reason to even say nothing. You know, because they'll find out soon enough. You know.
Right. I'm right there with you, man. Like I'm geeked. Being in a in a coaching position, you have to you have to kind of hold yourself back sometimes.
Exactly.
But like, bro, I'm super excited to see what the guys have done, and man, I think you're on a good way, man. Just watching you
Yeah.
train and try to keep the guys up, man. I think that's you definitely leading by example there, and man, we there. I mean,
Yes,
it's
sir.
almost time. I mean,
Yep.
so if before we get out of here, you've let us know like your goals and everything like that. What can the people from Rockford, man, expect from you this year? Any pictures, any places that you gonna visit to kind of say, hey mom, hey
Yeah.
dad, look at this. What's your plans there?
Well, you know, I think during the bye week, I'm going to try to get out somewhere, whether I go to, you know, somewhere where there's a beach, you know, whether it's Spain, Italy, something like that. I haven't planned it yet, but I got to get out, at least get on the beach for a couple days, hopefully on the bye week. But for sure, after the season, I'm planning on trying to get over to Egypt because, like I said, I got to knock off that on my bucket list. I got to get to the continent of Africa. I want to see so much more,
Yeah.
but at least start there, see the pyramids, you know, maybe take some pictures. Me and my girlfriend go out there and spend a few days out there at the end of the season, you know, somewhere maybe October around then. And yeah, hopefully I'm able to get my family to come out. As of recently, I've been trying to help them get their passports and get everything set up because I'm like, hey, I'm making you guys come out to Europe. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that they can take a picture with me after a big win, and enjoy the win together and just show them Europe. You know, I would love to show my brother and
So
sister
why is
those.
that? Why is they get trapped in? They not really sure if they want to leave or cross the water.
Exactly. No, I tell them they just got to pull the trigger, and I think sometimes people just, they get busy. People are working. They got kids. I understand. It's tough. In the U.S. you got to keep working. Otherwise, it's like, I can't take a week off. Otherwise I'm gonna can't pay the bills. So, but I'm like, you know what? You come here. If you save up a little bit, I'll pay for the food. You don't got to worry about nothing. You got a place to stay. I'll make whatever we got to do. You can sleep on the couch. I'll pull out a mattress. I'll get a blow up mattress. Whatever we need. You don't got to pay for nothing. So all you got to pay for is the flights. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm trying to make it worthwhile for them.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Hey, I'm right there with you, man. I'm hoping they come over here.
Yes, yes.
Man, hey, we appreciate you, tuning in with us, man, chiming in with us. Man, I'm looking forward to seeing what you bring to the, on and off the football field, man. Love the energy. Let's keep it rolling, man. Keep it chopping.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I was gonna ask you, real quick, where did you get the number 49? Like, why do you rock 49?
49. I know it's I guess it's a little bit of a weird number. A
That's
number
a
that I like.
linebacker number.
Yeah, it is a linebacker number. So how I got 49 is when I first went to McHenry University. That's the number that they gave me, and I didn't like it at first. I was like, man, 49. Like what? I was like, man, they must think I'm not gonna make the team. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I was just like gritty freshman. I'm like, man, I always felt like I had to prove myself. And I think that's always kind of helped me in my career. Even now, no matter what, however successful I am, I always feel like, it's not good enough. I always feel like I got to improve somewhere. And I always got to put everything I have into it. And they gave me number 49, as a freshman, you don't get to pick your number. And I didn't like it, like I said. But I made the bus. I got on special teams. I was playing as a freshman, burned my red shirt. I didn't really want a red shirt. Looking back on it, maybe I should have. I don't know. But that's the way that it went down. I played as a freshman. I was a rotational linebacker. Got a few tackles on kickoff. Started every special team. And I thought maybe there's something to 49. Maybe that. And I saw myself on film. I'm like, 49 kind of looks cool when he's flying around. Mm-hmm. And then sophomore year, I broke like the tackle record. Became the starter. Earned a starting role in spring ball going into my sophomore year and broke the tackle record. I'm like, okay. Because I was like, if 49 is not the number, I'll switch it after my sophomore year.
Yeah.
After that, I just kept 49, and ever since then, it's just kind of stuck with me. I was All-American my junior year, All-American my senior year. Went to Dresden, and Dresden, they were like, hey, we got 49 for you, and I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And then every year it's just kind of been the same. So it's kind of stuck with me and kind of made it my own a little bit.
Yes, sir. You own that.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, love it. Hey, man, I appreciate you joining in, man. It's been a pleasure having you on here. We got to do like some kind of mid-season something.
For sure.
Kind of check in and,
yep.
Hopefully I have some fans by then so we can.
We'll spread the word, man. We got to share this thing on social media. Yeah, spread the word, man. Sending it out all over the place.
Well, hey, appreciate it, man. Go ahead and do your thing. And, man, we're going to holler at y'all soon, man. Appreciate y'all turning in for Mental and Potential. We out. Peace.
Thanks, Coach Dre.